I want to state for the record and be clear. I have absolutely no book deals or no entertainment deals or any contingency fees of the kind with anyone, and any implication of that is just simply a false rumor.
Casey Anthony's attorney, Jose Baez, back in January denying any rumors of book or movie deals. We will see what he has to say tomorrow when he and Casey are back in court to discuss any possible entertainment deals. I am back with my expert panel. I want to go back as Mark Nijin, who was George and Cindy Anthony's attorney no longer. You were making an excellent point about the defense possibly locking themselves in. You just saw Jose Baez. He is talking a lot. Do you think that overall that has been a mistake?
I wouldn't have done it. I don't know why one would talk so much and get yourself stuck in a certain position, particularly when it appears apparently he's got a client that has said many, many things that clearly are not factually correct. Circumstantial evidence case. The state's going to run a timeline on this, and they're going to show all the inconsistencies. And without an eyewitness and without a confession, all these inconsistencies are going to be very, very harmful to anybody who's made them.
So, Drew Finling, getting back to your point, because I think it is a crucial point, the idea that they've locked themselves into Zandy the Nanny, even though it looks like some of the discovery and the things that the defense is looking for, that they might be trying to pin it on someone else, that they might be, oh, the ex-boyfriend this, an ex-boyfriend that. Do they really have that maneuvering room if they've all said Zandy took the baby?
I don't think they do. This case started, the original charge, the original indictment was charges that were for neglectful parenting. All this behavior is consistent with neglectful parenting. You can be a neglectful parent and take a hit on a case there, but not necessarily be a murderer. And they could have left the statements where they were. When you represent celebrities and you work with real PR firms from Manhattan, the one thing they tell you, because as a lawyer, Jane, you want to do press conferences when you win, and the one thing PR firms tell you is, great job done. Keep your mouth shut. Go away. You earned your fee. Now disappear, Mr. Finlay. And that's what lawyers have to do. Because at some point, even though jurors would be reminded at trial, they're constantly being reminded about the nanny. They're constantly being reminded about the nanny, and you get locked in with it, and it doesn't go away. And it's not going to leave jurors, whether they're in Florida or they're in Utah, they're stuck with it. Unless they change defense teams that say we're the new people on the block, but I don't see that happening.
Unless the defense team isn't getting paid, the only thing they're getting out of it is publicity, which brings us to tomorrow. Tomorrow's a big day in the civil case against Casey Anthony. Attorneys for Zenaida Gonzalez, the woman who claims her livelihood was destroyed when her name was associated with Kaylee's disappearance, set to depose two men who have been private investigators for the Anthony family, Dominic Casey and James Hoover. Now, the investigators were hired to search for Kaylee at the time of her disappearance. Dominic Casey even searched the very same woods where little Kaylee's remains were later found. He says he went there after getting a tip from a psychic and after hearing one of Casey's friends say they used to hang out there as kids. But Rebecca Rose Woodland, would the attorneys for Zenaida Gonzalez be grilling these two about whether anybody else led them there since they work for the Anthonys? And I want to say, I'm not saying the Anthonys knew the child's body was there. I have absolutely no evidence or knowledge of that. But it is quite a coincidence that they were videotaping in the very area where little Katie's remains were later found, and they happen to be private eyes working with the Anthony family.
It is a coincidence. Apparently they have reasonable excuses that someone told them that's where she hung out. What I think the question is, well, once her friend told you where they hung out, what connected that to make you think that's where the body would be? That's the big question. Why did you think that then? Did you have any speculation about the mother? And a psychic, well, I guess that could be confirmed. What psychic, where, and when did they talk to her? That's kind of basic information. I think some of the other information is, well, why did they lead to that?
I'm going to jump in because we've got to get to the next thing. Big day in court tomorrow. Casey Anthony expected back in court. Prosecutors expected to argue that Casey and company, her attorneys, need to explain where they got the money to afford this dream team, and we'll show you some pictures of the dream team. Just a really, really powerful team of defense attorneys and experts. So, Drew Finling, what Jose Baez says, he's not making any deals at all. He's not making deals, period. yet the prosecution is claiming he's managing Casey Anthony's assets. Is there any possible conflict there?
Well, the conflict would be if the motivation to go to trial, for example, were not to prove the client's innocence, but rather because that would increase the value of a book or increase the value of a movie. If you compromise your motivation, then you have a conflict, and that's the issue. Now, that being said, I think this is really none of the prosecution's business.
Well, we'll see what happens tomorrow. We're going to cover it. I want to thank my excellent panel. Huge developments in the disappearance of Haley Cummings. Cops reportedly investigating